Okay, let's get started on drafting. Before we do any actual drafting, let's just talk about how to set up your paper. This is multi-view paper. In the box where you get your graph paper, there's also isometric paper. Notice the difference. Um, Isometric paper shows 3 dimensions. Multi-view paper shows 2 dimensions. We'll get to isometrics later. Just make sure you grab the multi-view paper. Okay, it's sitting on my desk sideways, long ways. Um, so how to set it up. First thing you need to do is border it. So around the outside, you're going to take your ruler. You're going to draw a nice, thick, heavy line, very, very, very neatly. Your drafting stuff is graded on just overall neatness. So my ruler line right on the graph paper line, I'm going to go all the way around. We will talk more about line weights. But just for now, know this. The border line that we're making now should be the heaviest, darkest, thickest line on your drawings. Okay, so don't make it look so dark that it's sloppy and you're just going over it a million times, but you want that to be the heaviest line weight. Okay? So there's my border. I do this on every single drawing that I'm going to do for drafting. After that, I'm going to come to the bottom here. I'm going to count up 2 full units. So 1 block, 2 block, and that second line up, third if you count the bottom one. This line right here where my pencil is, I need to darken that all the way across with my ruler. Okay, so I have this cell here, and then I need to divide that up into 3 even cells. The graph paper is 39 units wide, so if I divide that by 3, each cell, which are our title blocks, should be 13 units wide. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the line right outside of that 13th, those 13th boxes I'm going to darken. These are still border lines and title block lines. These are all the same line weight, good heavy thick lines. I'm going to count over 13 more. And I'm going to darken the line right outside of that 13th, or I guess 26th box. And just double check yourself, make sure there are 13 here. And there are, so I'm good to go there. Okay, now halfway up this box, I don't need to measure. I can pretty well find halfway there. I want to put a little dot. I don't know if you can actually see my dot. I don't want it to be very noticeable, just enough that I can see it. Then I'm going to come up to the second box, right in the middle, place a small dot. That one I think you can see. I'm going to come over to the far right, same thing, little dot, and then I'm going to put my ruler connecting the 2 bottom dots, and this is a construction line. This is a line to help me locate future lines. So it is very light to where I can barely see it, and I can either erase it or hide it later. Okay, so this is a very light line. You might not even see it on the screen. And I'm going to do the same thing to the top 2 dots. Connect them with a very dark line. Setting up your title blocks. Here's how this goes. The left box is always your company or who you are drafting for. For this class, we're just going to make that DMS. Your lettering is important. It should be 1/4 inch letters. They should sit on the bottom construction line, and they should all touch the top construction line. They're always all capitals, and they're always printed. Okay. Nice, neat letters. Take your time with that. It really makes your drawing look good or bad. And do your best to center them this way, but not as important, but they do need to be centered. 1/8 of an inch from the bottom of the title block, 1/8 of an inch down from the top of the title block, 1/4 inch letters touching each construction line. Okay, middle box is the name of your drawing. This drawing is block 1. My letters are touching the top and bottom construction lines, all capital 1/4 inch letters. Didn't do a great job centering it up there. I'll do better on the next ones. And then far right is your name, spelled as first initial dot last name. First initial dot last name. All capital, printed, 1/4 inch letters. Okay, so I got my title blocks ready to go. I'm going to come up in the top right corner. These are also 1/4 inch letters. I'm just going to write this for now, and then we'll explain it as we get into the drawing. I'm going to write ratio 1 to 1. Ratio 1 to 1. And then I'm going to count from here. I'm going to go over 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to come up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put a little dot, and that is my starting point. Now, let's talk through what we are actually doing. I, the drafter, want to draft a drawing that I could hand to a builder, and they could build the project from my drawings. Okay, we're going to start with really simple blocks. This is block number 1, and they get more complicated as we go. The 8th graders draw stuff like this. You guys will eventually. We're just starting with block number 1. Okay, now to hand to a builder a drawing that they could draw this, I have to show 3 dimensions. The 3 dimensions are width, height, and depth. Length is not a dimension. All dimensions are a length. Width is a length, height is a length, depth is a length, but length is not a dimension. So they are width, height, and depth. Okay? To show 3-dimensional object on 2-dimensional paper, I have to show it from 3 different views. Okay? Those are front, top, and right side. And we'll just jump into it and talk through it as we go. This ratio, what it means is that 1 inch in real life on the object is 1 unit on the graph paper. Okay? If this was 1 to 2, that would mean 1 inch is 2 units on the graph paper. But 1 to 1 is the easiest. It just means if it says 5 inches, I go 5 squares. If it says 3.5, I go 3.5 squares. Okay? And I have my dot here for starting point. Starting point equals the bottom left corner of front view. Front view is the view that gives the most detail about the object. Okay? The view from which you can see the most dimensions. Okay? And just kind of a hint, usually it's going to be the view that I wrote the dimensions on. That would make sense, right? That I'm going to write those on the side that you can see the most stuff from. Okay? So we're calling this front view, which makes this top view, and this side view. Starting point is the bottom left corner of front view. So from starting point, if I'm 5 inches wide and I'm ratio 1 to 1, then I need to go 5 squares to the right. So from starting point that was over 8 and up 8, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to draw a line right there. Okay, so this line equals the bottom of the front view. So now I need the 2 sides. I see that they are 3.5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3.5. And the half is just going to be that halfway across, halfway between two lines. Okay. Same thing on the right. 1, 2, 3.5. So I got my bottom, got my two sides. Obviously, I just need the top line there. So I will connect the top of these two. I need to have even spacing between my views. So I came up 8 to start. So from here, I'm going to come up 8 units. I'm starting here on a half. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to start top view right there. So I drew this view, front view. Front view shows width and height. Now I'm going to draw top view right there. Top view shows width and depth. So top view and front view, the dimension that they share in common is width. So if front view is 5 wide, top view has to be 5 wide. Even though it's not written on up here, it's still written right there. They have to be the same width. It's the same object. Okay, so this view is 5 wide also. So coming up 8 units from the front view, I'm going to be 5 wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that line equals here. And my depth is 1.5. So I'm going to go 1.5. Same over here, 1.5. Okay, so now I just need this line back here. So I just need to connect the sides there. Okay, front view and top view always have to line up. Okay, they always have to line up because they share a common width. They're always the same width. Front view and top view have to be the same width because it's the same thing. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and put side view. To start that, I'm going to come over whatever this distance is. I'm going to put the same distance here. So that was 8 units. So from here, I'm going to come over 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And front view and side view share a common height. So front view is 3.5 tall. Side view has to be 3.5 tall. So from here, which was over 8, to right here, I'm going to come up 1, 2, 3.5, which makes sense because these always have to line up. Front view and side view always have to line up. Front view and top view always have to line up. Now I need my depth. Side view and top view share common depth. Okay, so that's 1.5. So I'm going to go 1.5, little dot, 1.5, little dot, and I'm just going to take my ruler and connect all of that. Okay, so that's done. Let's talk through it briefly. Front view is the most descriptive view. That would be this one. Okay, top view goes right above it. Front view and top view have to be the same width and line up. Front view and side view share a common height, so they have to line up. This distance has to be the same as this distance. This distance has to be the same as this distance. Okay, so make sure yours looks like mine, clean it up, erase things that need to be erased, and you're done with block 1.